Have you ever noticed that aging is often sugar-coated? We hear phrases like golden years or graceful aging, but what about the parts no one wants to talk about? The habits, the patterns, and the ugly truths that quietly creep into our lives as we get older. These aren't flaws in who we are. They're simply blind spots that, if left unchecked, can hold us back from living fully. And the good news, once you see them, you can change them. One of the easiest habits to fall into as we age is complaining. It starts small, talking about a sore knee, how the weather feels colder than it used to, or how the world seems to be changing too fast. Before long, it can become a daily routine, a pattern that sneaks into conversations with friends and family. Complaining feels natural because it gives us a chance to vent, but the hidden danger is that it doesn't move us forward. It traps us in the same place, replaying the same frustrations over and over without offering a way out. When a senior says, "I'm always tired," it may feel like a harmless statement, but repeated daily, it builds a story that can reinforce the problem. Instead, imagine reframing it. "I feel tired. Maybe I can add a short walk each morning to boost my energy." That small shift from complaint to action transforms the entire outlook. Complaints emphasize what's wrong, while actions emphasize what's possible. The difference between the two determines whether someone feels stuck or empowered. The truth is, constant complaining also has an effect on relationships. People may start to avoid conversations because they expect them to be filled with negativity. Family and friends might visit less often, not because they don't care, but because they feel drained after hearing the same grievances. This leads to even more isolation, which then creates more reasons to complain. It becomes a cycle that feeds itself. But breaking it is absolutely possible, and it begins with awareness. One way to turn complaints into progress is to treat each one as a clue. If someone says, "I hate how stiff my back feels in the morning," that's not just a complaint, it's a signal. It suggests the body is asking for movement, stretching, or maybe a visit to a doctor or physiotherapist. If the thought is, "I can't stand how boring my days are," then that's a nudge to explore a new activity, join a class, or reconnect with an old hobby. Complaints are messages in disguise, pointing toward areas where change is needed. Seniors who recognize this often find themselves regaining control over their lives. Instead of focusing on everything they can't do, they begin exploring what they can do. They replace the energy of frustration with curiosity and the weight of negativity with the lightness of problem solving. The simple act of choosing action over complaint shifts the atmosphere in the home, makes conversations more uplifting, and brings back a sense of purpose. Ultimately, complaining without action drains life of joy, while taking action, even a small one, creates hope. Aging doesn't mean giving up your power, it means being more intentional with it. Every time a complaint arises, it's an invitation: stay stuck in the story or rewrite it into a new possibility. And that choice makes all the difference in how vibrant and fulfilling the later years can truly be. As the years go by, one of the most common behaviors seniors develop is resisting change. It's natural. Life has been lived in certain ways for decades, and routines become comforting. But when change appears, whether it's new technology, a shift in health habits, or even the way society communicates, the instinct can be to push back. This resistance often starts with simple phrases: "I don't need that," "I can't learn it," or "that's not for me." While these reactions feel protective, they actually create barriers that limit opportunities for growth, joy, and connection. Think about how technology has evolved. Smartphones, video calls, and social media have become central to how people connect. Many seniors hesitate, saying it's too complicated or unnecessary. Yet, the seniors who embrace these tools often discover an incredible gift. They can see their grandchildren's faces in real time, stay in touch with old friends, or even join new communities from the comfort of their home. By resisting change, they risk isolation. By welcoming it, they expand their world. The same applies to health and lifestyle changes. Doctors may recommend new diets, exercises, or therapies to adapt to the body's needs. At first, the changes might feel inconvenient or uncomfortable. The thought of switching meals, starting daily stretches, or adjusting sleep routines can seem overwhelming. But what happens when those changes are embraced? Energy increases, pain decreases, and independence lasts longer. Resistance, on the other hand, allows decline to accelerate more quickly than it should. Change can also show up in relationships. Family dynamics shift, friends move away or pass on, and new people enter life. Holding on to the past too tightly, how things used to be, can prevent seniors from forming new bonds that bring companionship and support. Those who adapt, who open themselves to new circles of friendship, often discover connections that fill their later years with laughter and meaning. What makes resisting change so destructive is that it shrinks life. It closes doors before they can even be opened. It builds walls around opportunities that could have brought joy. But embracing change doesn't mean losing control. It means choosing to grow with the times, to stay curious, and to stay engaged. Seniors who allow themselves to adapt find that life remains vibrant. They're the ones learning to paint in their 70s, traveling to new places in their 80s, or starting a new hobby at 90. Change is not the enemy. It's the very thing that keeps the spirit young. And the beautiful truth is, it's never too late to welcome it in. One of the most damaging habits seniors often fall into is ignoring health red flags. It can begin with something small, a dull ache in the back, a little dizziness, or forgetting where the keys were placed. Many brush these off with a simple excuse. It's just old age. While aging does bring natural changes, dismissing every signal the body gives can lead to serious consequences. What starts as a minor issue might grow into something that steals independence, comfort, or even years of life if it's not addressed early. The truth is, the body is constantly speaking, especially as we grow older. When it whispers with mild symptoms, it's offering a chance to intervene before things worsen. But ignoring those whispers often forces the body to shout later, sometimes through a fall, a sudden illness, or a condition that could have been prevented. For example, a little shortness of breath might seem harmless, but it could be the first sign of heart or lung problems. Forgetfulness might be dismissed as normal aging, yet it could signal the start of something more serious that requires attention. Why do so many seniors ignore these red flags? Often, it's fear of bad news, fear of losing independence, or fear of being labeled as sick. Sometimes it's denial, a hope that if the problem is ignored long enough, it will just disappear. But denial rarely protects. Instead, it often shortens the chance for early treatment, when solutions are simpler and outcomes are far better. Taking health seriously doesn't mean living in constant worry. It means paying attention and being proactive. Regular checkups, routine screenings, and honest conversations with doctors can uncover problems while they're still manageable. Many seniors who once ignored warning signs later admit that getting help sooner gave them a better quality of life. The earlier an issue is identified, the easier it usually is to treat, and the faster seniors can return to enjoying the things they love. It's also important to remember that health is not only physical, but also emotional and mental. Changes in mood, energy levels, or sleep patterns are red flags too. Ignoring feelings of sadness, anxiety, or withdrawal can be just as harmful as overlooking physical pain. Addressing these signs can restore joy and prevent deeper struggles down the road. Listening to the body is an act of self-respect. It shows a commitment to living well, not just living long. Every ache, every change, every unusual feeling is the body's way of asking for care. Seniors who tune in, respond, and take action give themselves the best chance at independence, strength, and fulfillment. Aging does not mean surrendering to decline. It means learning to listen more carefully and honoring the signals that guide us toward better health. One of the heaviest burdens many seniors carry is holding on to negativity. Over the years, life naturally brings challenges. Conflicts with loved ones, disappointments, regrets, or moments where things didn't turn out as planned. These experiences often leave emotional scars. While the past cannot be erased, clinging to bitterness or regret can weigh down the present. Instead of enjoying the time they have, many seniors find themselves replaying old grievances, holding grudges, or feeling stuck in what could have been. Negativity often seeps into daily conversations. A senior who constantly brings up how a sibling wronged them years ago, or how life was unfair in one way or another, may not realize how much energy those memories are consuming. This cycle not only dims their own happiness, but also affects the people around them. Family members and friends might avoid deeper conversations because they know the mood will shift toward complaints or resentment. The result: greater isolation, which only reinforces the negative feelings. But holding on to negativity is not just about relationships. it also impacts health. Research has shown that chronic bitterness or stress can increase blood pressure, disrupt sleep, and weaken the immune system. In other words, negativity doesn't just live in the mind. It spreads throughout the body, making aging harder than it needs to be. What's often forgotten is that negativity is a choice, even if it doesn't feel like one. While we can't change what happened in the past, we can decide how much space it will take in our lives today. Seniors who learn to let go often discover an incredible lightness. They don't deny the pain of the past, but they choose not to let it define their present. Letting go can take many forms. Having an honest conversation, writing feelings down in a journal, practicing gratitude each morning, or simply deciding not to bring up certain old stories anymore. These small actions begin to clear mental space, making room for joy, laughter, and peace. It's also important to recognize that letting go doesn't mean forgetting or pretending things didn't happen. It means acknowledging the past while choosing not to let it hold power over the future. Seniors who take this step often radiate warmth and positivity. They become easier to be around, attract deeper connections, and inspire others with their resilience. The later years of life should be a time of freedom, not emotional imprisonment. Releasing negativity opens the door to that freedom. It allows seniors to focus on the blessings they have today, whether it's a loving grandchild's smile, the comfort of a quiet morning, or the chance to try something new. Life feels lighter, relationships grow stronger, and the heart feels more at peace. The truth is, holding on to negativity steals life's joy, but letting go gives it back. One of the most harmful habits seniors often fall into is isolating themselves. At first, it might not even be intentional. Maybe energy levels aren't the same as before, maybe driving feels stressful, or perhaps close friends have moved away or passed on. Slowly, social outings become less frequent, phone calls grow shorter, and invitations get turned down with the excuse of being too tired or not in the mood. Before long, days start to blend together, filled with long stretches of silence. While some alone time can be peaceful, too much isolation can quietly erode both emotional and physical health. Loneliness is not just a feeling, it's a health risk. Studies show that isolation in seniors can increase the chances of depression, anxiety, memory decline, and even physical illness. Without regular interaction, the mind loses stimulation, conversations become rare, and motivation to stay active dwindles. What begins as a preference for quiet can transform into a dangerous cycle where the lack of connection leads to sadness, and the sadness makes it even harder to reach out. Many seniors also convince themselves that they don't want to bother others. They may think their children or friends are too busy to visit, or that no one really wants to hear from them. This belief, however, is often untrue. Families and friends usually want to stay connected, but when seniors isolate themselves, it sends the wrong signal that they don't want company. Over time, this misunderstanding deepens the distance, leaving seniors feeling forgotten when in reality, they unintentionally pushed people away. Breaking the pattern of isolation begins with small, intentional steps. Picking up the phone to call an old friend, saying yes to a lunch invitation, or joining a local club can reignite the joy of human connection. Even activities like volunteering or attending community classes bring a sense of belonging and purpose. Technology can help, too. Video calls, online groups, and social platforms give seniors a way to connect without leaving home, offering laughter, stories, and friendships at the tap of a button. What's most powerful is the way connection transforms the spirit. Seniors who stay socially engaged often smile more, laugh more, and feel more energetic. They look forward to their days instead of watching them pass by. Conversations, no matter how simple, bring stimulation that keeps the mind sharp and the heart full. Isolation is one of the ugliest traps of aging, but it is also one of the easiest to overcome with effort and openness. Choosing connection is choosing life, because the moments shared with others are the ones that truly keep us alive inside. The later years should not be spent in silence, but filled with voices, warmth, and the comfort of community. One of the most disheartening habits many seniors fall into is underestimating their own potential. After decades of working, raising families, and facing life's challenges, some start to believe their best days are behind them. They say things like, "I'm too old to learn that," or "That's for younger people." This quiet surrender can slowly rob life of excitement, purpose, and growth. But the truth is, age does not erase ability. It simply reshapes it. Potential doesn't vanish with time, it only waits for permission to be used. Too often, seniors limit themselves by comparing their current abilities to what they could do years ago. A man who once ran marathons might say, "I can't run anymore, so I can't exercise." A woman who worked long hours might say, "I don't have the energy for new projects." But potential isn't about doing things the same way as before. It's about finding what fits now. That former runner might take up swimming or walking groups. That hard-working woman might discover a passion for painting, gardening, or writing. The possibilities don't disappear, they just look different. History is full of inspiring examples. Many people achieved their greatest successes later in life. Colonel Sanders founded KFC in his 60s. Laura Ingalls Wilder published her first, Little House, book in her 60s as well. Artists, inventors, and leaders have proven again and again that creativity, innovation, and growth are not bound by age. These examples show that seniors who believe in their potential can still create, inspire, and achieve things they never imagined. Underestimating oneself also affects daily life. Seniors who stop trying new things often lose confidence, becoming less adventurous and more passive. But those who dare to challenge themselves, whether it's learning to play a musical instrument, joining a dance class, or even mastering new technology, often feel a spark return. That spark fuels energy, improves mood, and builds resilience. Every small victory adds proof that growth is still possible. The key is shifting the mindset from limitation to possibility. Instead of saying, "I can't," seniors can ask, "What can I do now?" This simple question opens doors. Maybe it's starting a small side project, writing a memoir, or traveling somewhere new. Potential isn't about competing with the past. It's about creating a fulfilling present and future. When seniors underestimate themselves, they close doors before even knocking. But when they embrace their potential, they discover that life after 60, 70, or even 80 can be filled with breakthroughs and surprises. The later years are not the end of growth. They are an invitation to explore passions, talents, and dreams with the wisdom and freedom that only come with age. Believing in that potential is the first step toward living fully.